Hey Rude, welcome to my channel, mate. How are you?
Hey Terry, good to meet you. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you, Rude. And, thank you very much for allowing me the time to spend with you to go through this interview. Let's get some introductions out the way. I'm Crypto Matthews, your average guy based in the UK in love with the blockchain and crypto world in general, and wanting to learn as much as I can about projects and bring this information to you lot via my YouTube channel. Give me some love, subscribe and comment below so that I can share more content that may be of interest to you. Now, a quick mention to everyone, while I love the crypto world, I must stress I'm not a financial advisor, and your decision to invest in a project is your decision and your decision only. And one very quick big shout out to Alpha Legends, who I shall be working with, who have brought this project to my lap. Links below to find out more about the Alpha Legends. Over to you, Rude, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and the project.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Ryan Rude. I go by the pseudonym Rude. It's my username across all my platforms. My personal Twitter's at the Rude I know, but you can find me generally as the founder of Pixel Ape Business Club in our server under the name Rude. So just a little background on me. I've got a background in entrepreneurship and also in sales and marketing. I went to a top 50 university here in the U.S. And am also the person behind the name Rude Trades, which is a popular stock trading persona over on the financial side of Twitter, if you guys are in that space. And I have, some groundbreaking technology companies that I partner with, such as Unusual Whales, and constantly have been working to try and find a way to pave a path here in the crypto and NFT space that I can bring some of my passions and talents to. And it's really the reason I'm here today and the reason that I started Pixel Ape Business Club.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks very much, Rude. And maybe we could have a little chat just at the end, because there's a key point on your white paper that I saw in regards to the Rude trading. So we
Definitely
quickly just touch over that near the end. Introduction's done, my friend. So while we're really here, tell us a little bit now about Pixel Ape Business Club and what it is.
Yeah, definitely. So, for those who don't know what Pixel Ape Business Club is, it's the project that I've been working on in terms of the Web3 community, where we are creating the first ever VC fund for NFTs. And if you don't know what a VC fund is, it's a venture capital fund. It essentially means we're going to be using funds to help creators create. And it's a vision that I've been working on for quite some time now, as I've seen there's a huge barrier to entry in the space for people who are looking to create an NFT project. And there's a lot of creators that probably have great ideas out there that just aren't surfacing. So that is really the core foundation of what we're here to accomplish.
Thanks, Rude. Really exciting, hence me wanting to interview you. So now let's have a little bit more of a dive into your white paper. So looking through the white paper, it's detailed, definitely. I love the vision. So what I think at such an early stage in the project is to deep dive into that a little bit more. So you're doing all the drawings yourself?
Yeah, so I already did all of the art myself. It actually kind of is funny how it started. I had the vision for what I wanted to create in the space, but I didn't really have kind of a direction in terms of what I wanted to do artistically for it.
Okay.
And it actually started with, just kind of tinkering around, playing around with the pixel art. I really do like it. I've been a gamer my whole life,
Okay.
and kind of seeing 8-bit, and it reminded me of childhood when I'd play Pokemon and some of those games. So, I always kind of had a little bit of a fascination for it.
Okay.
And, one day on my stock trading Twitter account, I was, messaging in a group that I'm in with some other traders, and one of them had a profile picture of Pepe the meme frog, and I just decided, hey, it'd be fun to try and recreate that in kind of like a pixel art form. And I just went ahead and just did it just as for fun, and sent it to the group, and they loved it. They thought it looked awesome. They got a really good kick out of it. And from there, it kind of took off as like, wow, I actually didn't really realize I had any ability to create any sort of art that was decent, and started to try and create derivatives of the Bored Ape collection, just as a starting point. And in doing so, I ended up creating some of my own layers, creating some of my own unique traits, and I was like, wait, these are actually turning out really, really awesome. And I found, I fell in love with the art that I was creating, and then I was having a really good time doing it, and just kind of carried on, and created the whole collection. So
with 10,000 in total, right?
Yeah, so there's 10,000 in total, and we have 20 different furs. We have 24 different eyes. We have 31 different outfits or clothing items,
Okay.
um, and 20 different mouths. And then lastly, we have 19 different hats. So
Okay.
there's a ton of different traits. There's a ton of different unique apes that are coming out. Each one's going to be its own unique, uh, obviously its own unique one of one ape. There's no two similar apes in the collection.
Okay.
But yeah, all the art was done by hand. So it's not like I used any sort of AI to generate the layers themselves. I hand drew every single layer, and then from there just kind of mixed and matched and used some code to help me speed up that process. But yeah, everything else was hand drawn.
Brilliant. Okay, so that was, it's one of my questions that I was going to ask. So in terms of, you know, you've gone over like the different eyes, the mouths, and stuff like that. Are you going to use categories like in terms of ultra rare, rare, gold, legendary, or anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm not going to be titling anything in terms of rarity when it comes to, labeling it as ultra rare or anything like that or legendary. But, however, each trait does have a desired rarity percentage that I've created.
Okay.
So there are certain traits such as, a gold fur, right, or the profile picture that I have, which is the trippy fur. Those are going to be, less than 1% of all apes have those qualities, right? So there will be ultra rare apes that do appear based on how they've been generated. And, one of the items that I aspire to get taken care of pretty quickly is after a sellout on the mint is to, send over the required details to Rarity Tools or a site similar that's going to be able to go ahead and track rarity for each ape.
Okay. Brilliant. Okay. And when you mentioned the gold fair, that's one of your giveaways at the moment, isn't it?
Yes. So we are running a giveaway in the Discord for the member that brings the most people to the server by the time we mint. I am giving away an ultra rare gold, so to speak, right? So one of the gold fur apes will be given away to the member with the most invites in our server.
Yeah, he looks super cool. I've got him up on my screen, so everyone can find that in your Discord, which I'm going to put the links in the bottom, and then they just need to click on the little giveaways tab, and then
Yes.
that's going to be there for them, isn't it?
Yes, correct. And just a disclaimer on that. So the ape that is in the giveaways tab right now is just a reference so you can see what a gold fur looks like. It may not be that exact gold fur ape, but it will be a gold fur ape nonetheless.
Brilliant. Okay. With everything that you want to bring, and obviously you're going to need to be able to work with community. So, is there a wish list of other projects and places in the crypto world that you maybe want to collab with?
Yeah, definitely. So I have my sights set pretty high here. Some of my dream collaborations would be with, first and foremost, the Doodles community. I think that community, I experienced meeting with some of their founders and also meeting with their community at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. And I was just kind of mind blown by, the strength of their community and what they're trying to do in this space and how they're really just paving a path that has never existed before. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here at Pixel Ape Business Club. And ultimately that would be one of the communities I would love to really set my sights on to work with. And then also the user people pleaser. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's another person that I'd met at South by and was extremely inspired by, and she's been doing some amazing things. She's even gotten her NFT work on the cover of I think it's Fortune magazine. So, it just speaks volumes of how fast she's grown in the space in such a short time. And I would love to bring her on the team or collab with her in some sort.
Brilliant. Okay, very high, high expectations as well, which is fantastic, especially for the mindset of a project like yours and how it's going to grow. So in terms of growing it, what's your sort of growth vision and future in the metaverse? The footprint of it, and where would you like to see it go? The benefits of taking it forward.
Yeah, so ultimately, I am trying to create something that is revolutionary in Web3. I'm trying to create a community and a project that's exciting, that's never been seen before, that's never been done before, and has the industry talking. That's really the vision of what I'm trying to create here. I don't want this just to be another derivative profile picture project that has no value other than a group of holders that are really passionate about the art. There's a lot of projects out there that, sure, they have great value in terms of their ETH floor, but there's really no value in terms of what they're creating for the space outside of essentially being a token that stores value, but doesn't really create any real value.
Yeah.
For me, I'm out here with this project at Pixel Ape Business Club trying to change lives. A across the board. So whether that's for our holders or whether that's for our creators that are going to be brought into the fund. I want to see this project build to the place where we have investors that are in our community, that are some of the biggest whales in the space, on top of also being able to have people who are new to the space, in our community as well. So I want to create that mix and really kind of bring together both of those worlds and have a project that people are extremely excited about.
Amazing. So, you've covered a lot of this anyway, but I know you've mentioned that it was in your trading group and you had a little play, but what gave you the overall idea to then turn that that little play of artwork into actually creating and building this club?
Yeah, so like I said, I had been trying to figure out a way in which I can create value in this space because I've just been so intrigued by it for the last 18 months. And have really wanted to make my mark in the space, and really put our name in history in terms of the Web3 community. And when I say our name, I mean our community, not myself. And in doing so, I had wanted to create something that was going to be business related, just because that's where my experience has been, that's where my focus has been, that's where my interests have been. So I created, the art like we had discussed, and I've always had the business club as kind of like my moniker that I wanted to bring to my project. Yep. The Pixel Ape just came from the art that was generated, but anyways, turning that into the vision that we've seen today, it actually was, it kind of hit me in like an Einstein moment where the light bulb just went off right above my head, and I was trying to decide how I can create this community that's going to empower creators. Yep. And out of nowhere, I just kind of had the idea of creating a venture capital fund for NFT creators. There was nothing that really sparked the idea. It just kind of came to me. And as I started to think about it, I realized that no one was really doing this in the space, and that no one had really at least put out any sort of vision towards something like this. And it was a bit interesting because for me, as I've been creating this project, it's relatively unknown about what it takes to create an NFT, right? Most people think it's like, oh, you just make some art, you put it on OpenSea, people buy it, it's done. There's a lot of costs that go into a project like this that are really unrecognized, and it's actually becoming a pretty big barrier to entry. And there's probably at least the way I see the space is there's probably hundreds and hundreds of creators that are extremely talented and have great ideas and great visions that they can bring to life, but they're hindered by that barrier to entry.
Very true, Rude. Be it in the crypto space or with fiat in businesses, everything costs so much to get started, and it can be that stumbling point for a lot of people. So having somewhere to turn that's going to support and encourage, and more so offering that sort of lifeline to get their project off, which is you. So how long has this whole concept, this idea, how long have you been working on this so far?
Yeah, so I've been working on this for probably I would say I think I started this in early February in terms of, first putting pen to paper, so to speak, and really getting started and taking actionable steps towards building out this vision.
In terms of funding, have you self-funded it, or did you have it's completely self-funded?
Correct. It's been completely self-funded. I haven't taken any money from anybody else yet. I don't plan on doing so. I'd like to just get this off the ground on my own and not be kind of tied down to anybody else and their ideas.
That's great. So it's that gives another boost really in my eyes that this is your project. Like ultimately, to get started, you put your funds and your heart into making it. Must have been a few late nights making 10,000 images as well, which are great. Will there be any future twist on next generations of mints, or is that something not thought of as yet?
Yeah, so that is something that is always in consideration, but I mean, I don't want any, promises of that to come because we don't really know where the project's going to turn as the space continues to evolve. If the community is deciding, hey, we want a derivative of the art, we want, to further evolve this project into another mint, then definitely it's something that we will, look to do and take care of. If the community doesn't have interest in that, then we won't. Really, at the end of the day, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the feedback from our holders and the people who are a part of the Pixel Ape Business Club, and then we're going to decide kind of where to go from there. So ultimately, once the mint happens, all of the power is going to be going to the community in terms of decisions forward.
Okay, so perfectly timed there, really, in terms of my next question. So, your visions of the VC fund and the community concept, the split of the holdings, liquidity progression, etc. So, 25% of the primary and secondary sales will be used to build the fund. Can you, can you expand on how the voting will work in terms of the NFT holders?
Yeah, so it's definitely going to depend on, I guess, the success of the mint, right, in terms of how quickly we'll be able to take care of this. But ultimately, the way I see it running is we are, like you said, we're going to allocate 25% of all primary and secondary sales directly to a wallet that will be considered our VC fund. From there, what we plan to do is essentially anyone that is holding a Pixel Ape Business Club token is going to be eligible to bring their project to life with the fund. And in doing so, we're going to be holding regular Twitter spaces to start as a means to bring people on stage to pitch their project, pitch their art, really pitch us why the funds should be allocated to their project. Yep. And, anyone in the community can join, anyone in the world, I guess, can join that space and listen to those pitches. But then ultimately what we're going to do is we're going to have to set up a website that's going to be linked to verify your token. So verify that you are holding, and then you'll get granted access into the website. And then from there, we'll upload the information on the projects, and holders will have a certain time period to cast votes in terms of which project or projects they want to see continue forward in the process. And then from there, the list will obviously just get narrowed down. Maybe we'll start with, and we haven't really flushed out the exact numbers yet. Like I said, it's going to depend on demand. But let's just say for numbers' sake, we're starting with week 1, we're going to have 10 people pitch. We're going to cut that down to 5 by the next voting round, right? And then from there, cut it down to 2. And then, maybe select 2 projects to fund right off the bat, something like that. And that's just based on, easy math. Could be much more, could be much less. It really depends on the demand for who wants funding right away. But that's kind of how I envision it working from the beginning. And we're going to be allocating some of those primary sales to hiring developers to create the necessary sites. Amazing.
Sounds very exciting. So in terms of the developing, have you got a team right now? I've seen that you've mentioned Z. Can you tell us a little bit about Z and how he's going to be helping you?
Yeah, so Z is my developer for our blockchain side of the house. So Z has a background in coding. He's in the EU, actually, and he has been building smart contracts for about 18 months on the Ethereum blockchain. I've met him in a prior community that I've been in, and I've seen some of the work that he's done in the past. And, we got off to a really great start as friends, actually, and we became, really good mates. And, he's been doing a great job in terms of helping guide me on just advising me on the project as I lead it. Right now, Z actually has just finished reviving a rug pull. Okay. So he's doing some great things in the space. I've never heard of that before, but he was a part of a community, or knew people that were a part of a community that was completely rugged called Mechazuki. It was like an Azuki derivative. Okay. They got rugged. He took over all of the art, downloaded all of it, rebuilt an entire smart contract, created a burn method in which, if you were holding Mechazuki and you got rugged, you could trade it in for this, Genesis edition of it, and really just created basically a new community out of it. To help try and save those people who were rug pulled. So he's a great guy. He's been doing great things in the space and kind of exactly what I wanted when I was looking for a partner to help me build out a project like this. Someone that's in it for the space, in it for creating a revolutionary movement, not someone that's just in it to try and collect a bag and leave. So
absolutely. So a passion involved with the business at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of building the community, and in the last couple of weeks I've seen your Discord grow, which is great. And is there further sort of plans and momentum to build on this, especially when you want to hit the Twitter Spaces and target audiences when the project grows? Building your team, etc., is what I'm trying to aim towards.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So all of our growth is aimed at organic growth. I learned the hard way very quickly that these NFT promoters do not bring anything but bots to
Okay.
anything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you see these people asking like, "Hey, I'd love to bring your project to life, love your vision, blah blah blah," they lie to you. You pay them money, they retweet you, or they shout you out, and it's just being shouted out to thousands of bots and no one that's actually real. And a
Okay.
lot of projects you see today will have 20, 30, 40,000 members and followers, and they can't even mint out. And it comes down to the fact that they don't have real members, and that's not what we want. So all of our growth is going to be organic. All of it has been organic so far, and that's why it's I guess a little bit slower than most people in this space probably expect. But that's good because it's real.
Yeah.
So some plans to grow, obviously want to really get involved in Twitter Spaces. So get on certain people who host AMAs and talk about our project, bring the project to life in those communities. I've already been in active conversations with some higher name people in this space. I don't want to disclose anyone's names, obviously, because we haven't agreed upon anything yet. But I have some Bored Ape members who are very interested in the project right now and are potentially going to come on board to help, bring some love and attention and spotlight the project itself as well from the Bored Ape community, from within that community itself. So that would be absolutely massive in bringing credibility and legitimizing the project. So we're really, really close to having some of those partnerships in place as well.
Awesome. In a little mention that you make about community members owning the commercial right to the NFT. What can you sort of elaborate on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, so essentially, if you own one of the Pixel Apes or any of the Pixel Apes at all, essentially, it's yours. You own everything about it. So
Okay.
if you wanted to monetize it, put it on merchandise, do whatever you wanted to it, sell it to somebody, then you have the rights to do so.
Okay. And the rewards program, being defined for the holders and active community members, giveaways, mint opportunities, whitelists with partners, etc. Will you use that voting system, or will it be a community decision on the direction of what happens with that?
Yeah, a bit of both, So I think it's going to be, if there's certain projects and founders that come to me and say, "Hey, we have this project, we want to, give your community whitelist, or we want to give away some tokens to your community," whatever it is. Obviously, I'll vet it out first, make sure it's something that would align with our vision and our morals and principles and values. And if so, we'll bring it to the community. If they say they want in, then we'll do those things. In terms of reward program, it's going to be ever evolving, but ultimately, the way the funding is going to work is just like a normal VC fund. As we fund these projects, we're going to have equity in them as well.
Yep.
So it'll be agreed upon with each founder on a case-by-case situation, but we'll have equity in the projects, and that's going to go right back to the community. So let's just use easy math here. Let's just say we fund a project. We take 10% to fund them as equity for Pixel Ape Business Club.
Yep.
That 10% is going to be going back into the community wallet. And then from there, as we have, let's just say in a year, we have 20 projects underneath us that are generating us an additional, 100 ETH for the year. That creates a whole new world of opportunities to give back to the community in terms of airdrops, in terms of giveaways, in terms of a rewards program that's going to be evolving as we grow. So just for scale and for perspective, that is kind of how I envision it moving in the future.
Amazing, very exciting as well. So in the airdrop access as well, everyone likes an airdrop. So holding the PABC and the mint access, future releases. Is there any sort of little secret hints or anything else that you can tell us? Is there anything you got planned with that?
Yeah, so not yet. Like I said, it's going to be ever evolving. That's going to be the key here. Is it's hard because ultimately at the end of the day, my biggest fear would be over promising anything, right? Would never want to mislead anybody by saying, "Hey, we plan to do this," and then not deliver on it. So rather than that, I would just like to leave it open-ended in terms of the airdrops and just say, "Hey, if the project's extremely successful, we're going to really bring out some awesome stuff to you." And if you're still a part of the community at that point, kind of strap in, right? Get ready, because there's going to be some good things coming your way.
Build and adapt. So Rude, I think we've covered a lot of your roadmap. It's great, very excited, and really looking forward to the coming weeks and months, and how you're going to continue building the project. There's a little mention, and I loved it at the beginning when you doxed. Just your trading group. Can you give us a little bit of, for some of us that might be into that side of trading, etc. Can you give us an insight into your trading group?
Yes, so Rude Trades is my stock trading persona, as I mentioned earlier, and all holders are going to be having access to exclusive content and partnerships that I'm going to develop with outside organizations, as it says in the roadmap. First one being just obviously my own, because that's one I can already approve and give access to before reaching out to other organizations. But essentially what Rude Trades is it's a premium educational content service for anyone that's interested in the US stock market. So what I've created there is a group of around 800 traders in the Discord, and then also have about almost 10,000 followers on Twitter. And I have educational material to help you get started with trading. I have a built out entire video series that'll give you the basics and everything I know about stock trading. Every single day I post notes in terms of looking at X stock to hit X price, based on these factors and these indicators on the chart. So it's really just a community and a group for people who are interested in stock trading to better their knowledge and collaborate with other traders on what they're viewing in the market.
That's great, Rude. I'm very interested myself as well, so maybe we can drop a link down in the comments and add that in. So Rude, as you know, I'm very grateful for taking up your time and you allowing your time for us to do this interview, ask a few more questions, sort of do that deep dive into your roadmap. As we're coming to the end of the interview, Rude, I'm really excited that you have been nice enough to give me the opportunity to give away some whitelists. So what we're going to do this, the whitelist, is turn it into a little competition that can obviously help you grow your community as well, and on the lines of it being organic. So people need to drop comments into my YouTube channel. They need to share the AMA with you. But ultimately, to know if they've won, they must join your Discord, which I'm going to drop the links below. So could you tell us, Rude, sort of how many whitelists that you're going to give my community?
That's great. That's awesome. Yes, so we have 10 spots available for your community to bring to the Pixel Ape Business Club, which is awesome. Right now, we only have about 60 people on the whitelist total. So it's a pretty large percentage is going to be available here.
That's amazing. So much appreciated. I'm going to give you the rest of your day back to you, and I'm going to be very closely following you. And you've got my support as well, Rude. And I think a lot of other members are going to be very excited, and especially to see how genuine you are, because that's a big thing. I think is actually hearing, rather than it just being words on Discord and Telegrams and internet, actually having a voice chat with someone that's openly, one, doxing, and two, so clearly explaining your answers to the project that you're creating. It's like a breath of fresh air, and the transparency already is great, with no overbearing promises of millionaire status in weeks or hours, even, as something chase at the moment. So much appreciated, Rude. I will catch up with you again very soon.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, Crypto Matthews.
Guys, it was fantastic to interview Rude, and thank you very much for listening. If there's anyone that you think that we should interview next, please drop it in the comments and let me know.